Hello, everyone, and I'm Alex, your Blondie compliance officer. And today I would like to discuss about the internal auditor, of course, and all the features that make the good internal auditor as a good professional. But those features that are also slowing us down and also do not allow us to grow as a professionals to climb that career ladder in the corporate world. So I break it down into five reasoning, in my personal opinion, from my almost 20 years of experience in that field. And of course, you might relate to some of them, you might recognize yourself, or maybe you would add something else. So let's get started. So the reason number one is truth over diplomacy. We know that the auditor needs to be transparent, we need to be professional, we need to carry our professional judgment as a torch. But it also it also means that we need to be very transparent and we also need to be very straightforward. Of course, when I'm saying being straightforward, being direct, being transparent, truthful, means also being respectful and kind professionally towards your colleagues, towards your peers, and the stakeholders. But in the career world, in the corporate world, for your career, it might be a roadblocker, actually, because sometimes, again, in this corporate world, which, in my personal opinion, a major part would like for you to be more diplomatic, more political, let me put this way. And the professional auditor, with all these values, with all the features, sometimes might not fit into that diplomatic setup. And therefore, what make us as a good auditors, openness, truthful, like the straightforwardness, directness, professional judgment, might not help us to be a diplomatic. And I don't have a treatment for this. As usual, I always like to say that professionalism goes first. So no matter what is the circumstances, I would always consider myself from the audit perspective. So what my inner auditor would do in this case. So whether I need to be more diplomatic, more soft, nice, more political, or should be more truthful, more open, and more direct. Of course, it's not a black and white. Sometimes we just need to, let's say, moderate and tolerate our stakeholder and moderate our voice and moderate. Of course, I'm not saying that we need to scream and shout. No, not at all. But I'm trying to say that we can soften our message, we can work at our communication skill set, and somehow sound a little bit more diplomatic. But nevertheless, there are some hard circumstances where you just need to be the auditor, be yourself. So that's why I'm saying it cannot be black and white. And to my personal opinion, that it's actually worked me to be a good auditor, but it somehow didn't help me to climb that career ladder. I was not always being a nice person or nicest person in the room because no one wants to hear the truth. Sometimes you want to hear what you want to hear, right? Especially this CXO level, the executives, they sometimes don't want to hear what you want to deliver. But as an auditor, you need to convey that message. So we somehow need to find a balance. The balance can be achieved through the communication skill set. So work at your communication skill set and do not jeopardize or compromise your truth, your true yourself. Once again, professional goes first, in my personal opinion. So the reason number two, every problem deserves fixing. So As auditors, we're finding the problem. We are stating the problem statement, and that's our job. It's our identity. We always find the problems, and it doesn't mean that you seek for problems, right? You find a problem, you try to identify it, then you try to find the solution, or as we call the risk mitigation measures, to prevent or to somehow save the company from themselves, to identify those pain points and put the compensatory measures or control measures over these activities. But in the career, in your career ladder, it might not help you, because sometimes the problem just need to be stay there, that everyone needs to know that there is a problem, and it should be a little bit painful for everyone, because the corporate needs to understand that there is a problem and it requires the fixing. Whereas the auditor mindset wants immediately to jump into the problem and solve it, or at least to not solve it by yourself, but recommend solving something, right? And therefore it's not always very nicely perceived and accepted by the organization, by the management, when people would be thinking why they are giving their recommendations, why they're trying to fix it. Maybe it shouldn't be fixed at all, or maybe we should not even spend time on this. I'm not now talking about this risk-based approach. Of course, we always need to think about the risk-based approach. We shouldn't solve the issues that do not require that, or maybe that minor that your effort or over solving this issue would be higher than the mitigation measure after that. So your residual risk is super low. Maybe even your inherent risk would be super low. So yeah, but again, from my perspective, sometimes it didn't help me that I was so hands-on. I was trying to fix it immediately, recommend some actions, whereas sometimes the business needs to take the ownership and try to come up with their solution instead you are coming with the solution, because it's like an IKEA effect. You don't own what you don't like what you don't own, and if you don't own the recommendation or the problem fixing, you just don't own the problem, and that's a problem. That's a problem, right? Because the business needs to feel the ownership, and it also creates kind of tension that there is a guy who doesn't understand entire process. He's not my business owner, he's not in my shoes, but he's trying to fix it. You know it as an auditor, perhaps you face it many times. So yeah, so the reason number one, which is a bit controversial, it's about the curiosity became the skepticism. So as auditors, I think we are curious. We are curious to know the new thing. We're curious to learn the new processes. We're keen to learn the new solutions. We are curious people. We are more curious than other. And I think it's not that because we are as auditors so unique. It's because the more curious people would like to be an auditor. So they are choosing that profession due to the fact that they are curious people. But throughout your career, it's somehow, I call it professional deformation, you become more skeptical because you are challenging the status quo again and again, and then you are trying to be a more risk averse. So therefore, you are somehow compromising your curiosity and becoming more skeptical. And of course, no one likes skeptical people. So therefore, it doesn't help you in your career. But of course, in majority of times, it helps you to be a good auditor. But in this case, I am on that camp who is more trying to find more balanced approach, not to challenge everything, but again, somehow sufficiently challenge, or being on this finding that middle ground, and still stay curious, but being skeptical where it's necessary, but not having this skeptical hat 24/7. Well, we should stay skeptical, of course, but we should stay curious in major terms, my personal opinion. The reason number four, it's people become careful around you. And I think many of you can relate to that. And it doesn't help you to grow in the corporate world outside the internal audit. And also having a good relationship with the management. And of course, it also would help you to climb that career ladder. So people, it's, I always think how to not lose the trust of the people, because if the people trust, they can share with you the things, the risks, the problems that could be fixed with your support, and could shed a light on the problem that could also help you within your audit assignment. But people in any case would be a little bit cautious, right? And it depends, of course, on the personality of every stakeholder you are engaged with. But it's throughout my career, I saw it again and again that people become more and more careful around you. And of course, I also would take that credit that whenever I was younger and I was kind of hardcore auditor, I was harsh and I was pushy and straightforward. So of course, people don't like, again, coming back to the point number one, they don't want to hear the truth, and that's why they also staying quite careful. It's not that everyone who is careful around you is fraudster, coming back to the skepticism part, but it's also about that they will be a little bit more cautious, and it doesn't help you to build up the good relationship. But again, here we need to find the balance solution, because you don't need to be likable, right? You just need to be respected. You need to have maintain a good relationship with everyone. That's best, right? That's the best, to maintain the good relationship, open relationship, gain the trust, and build up the good relationship. And then, of course, you need to make people comfortable around you. But to some extent, sometimes you have to challenge, and that would also require your inner courage to make sure that they are sufficiently challenged, the status quo is challenged, but still in a more respectful way. It's again coming back to the communication skills. And yes, the reason number five is doing the right thing is not always the same, is really not the same as doing the things right. And here is a kind of the audit trap, that we trying to do the things, doing the right thing, right? And in a business environment, sometimes doing the right thing, it's not the same doing the things right. Let's say, as per the regulation, as per the policy, it's written down that we need to do X, Y, Z. But maybe that policy is wrong. So maybe the course of action is wrong. Maybe we need to challenge that course of action. Maybe we need to challenge the way it is. Again, coming back to this challenging the status quo. And sometimes I can see that this mindset about the right thing is also not helping you to grow within the organization, because sometimes you're that annoying person who is just trying to find the best and the being a best in class. And again, it is about the finding the middle ground, being risk oriented, finding the based on the risk, finding that solution based on the risk approach, right? And sometimes we can compromise to the things that really don't matter, or maybe it is required by the organization, it is required by the strategy that we are working with, and the new internal audit standards. They are exactly pointing out that the internal audit needs to follow the organization strategy. We cannot live in silo. Therefore, this, let's say, good intention could be a very, very bad for your career as an internal auditor, because you could go completely into this right or left right camp, And it also might jeopardize your relationship with the management and within the organization. And with my this speech, with this five reasoning, I didn't mean to say that, okay, be nice, try to be polite, try to navigate all this office politics. It's not at all about this. It is about find the balance and stay true yourself, follow the your inner compass, especially if you're experienced with it or you already feel what is right, what is wrong, but sometimes challenge it within yourself, because within while we are also being a professional, sometimes we are blind, we have this blind spot. We are also not challenging ourselves. So with this video, I was just trying to say that we need to challenge ourselves. We need to make sure that we are still, standing our ground strong, but compromising where it's possible, moderating our communication skills, trying to adjust, trying to be aligned with the organizational dynamics, not trying to be a best in class, removing this perfectionism layer, trying to moderate your skepticism where it's necessary, and being self-aware about this blind spot that you might have. So I hope it was useful, and if you have anything to add, or you disagree with me or agree with me, I would welcome your comments. So let's stay in touch in LinkedIn, in all my social media, and see you next time.